Let's get it crunk up on, have fun up on it. In this dancery, we got y'all open. Now y'all floating, so you got to dance for me. Come on, y'all. Y'all seen the title. It's a family affair. And if you haven't heard that song, Mary J. Blige, Family Affair, that's all I got to say about that. Okay? Hey y'all. I miss y'all so much. This podcast is just really my baby. And when I'm away from y'all, I'll be like, my podcast, my divine baddies. Like, I love y'all. And I love this podcast. I did have to, of course, take some time to, revamp, renew, rejuvenate. It was the holiday season. So I, of course, had to take that necessary time for me to just chill out. But I did still feed y'all because did y'all tune into that collab episode? My last episode? Did y'all tune into that? Where I collabed with Poetry for Black Girls, my first collab ever. Like, come on now. Who's doing it like me? Who's doing it like me? I just started this podcast. Already have collabs. Next, we gonna have brand deals. Next, I'm gonna be over banners. Like, it's getting serious, y'all. And y'all have the privilege of saying that y'all was here when we was in the trenches. Y'all was here when we was in the projects. So that's such an honor. I hope y'all had a really great holiday time. I hope y'all had fun with y'all families. I hope y'all were able to relax and chill, get off work. I just hope that the holiday season was a time for y'all to really just recuperate. Now, y'all know I'm a spiritual girly, so of course I don't believe the new year really starts in January. And of course, I don't really support or celebrate holidays, but I'm gonna eat a little something. I might smoke a little something. I might drink a little something. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah. But I still hope that y'all had great holidays. I still hope that y'all still had a really, really good time. Okay, and I missed y'all. And like I said, please tune into that collab episode with Poetry for Black Girls. And if you are not aware with Poetry for Black Girls, the podcast, please go over to that podcast and show her some support. My girl Angelina, she was amazing. She was refreshing. The episode is so light. We cover so many topics and conversations. It's really a vibe. I really enjoyed that episode. I really enjoyed that collab. So please go check that out and please go support my girl. We're all about supporting black people, okay? Also, for Spotify, I'm noticing that when I upload my episodes, even though they ask you what episode and what season, even though I upload it, it still never shows, which I'm learning that that's why people put a number in their description or their episode title because it's not going to show up. So if you're on Spotify and you don't see the episode numbers, that's why. And I'm already so deep in, I'm not going to add them now. Not until season 2, y'all. Just go ahead and check the latest episode. It's the latest episode. You should be able to get the order down. I'm sorry, y'all. I told y'all we in the trenches, y'all. I'm gonna learn. And I'm gonna get an intro soon too. Probably for season 2. But y'all know season 1. Y'all know we going through it season 1. If y'all don't know, please follow my IG page. I have a new IG page, Diary of a Divine Black Girl. Please go follow that. Please go check it out. And please don't forget to turn your notifications on so you can be notified when I drop the latest episode. I still have random episodes that are going to come out whenever, and you need to be notified when I drop that. So, yes, I'm really excited to be back. I'm really excited to continue to do my thing. And I'm not going to make the intro longer than what it needs to be because y'all know how I can get. But as always, I always have to brief y'all on the episode at hand. This episode is going to be about family, as I mentioned in my latest episode, episode 2. This episode will be about family. There's not much more I can say about that. It's going to be about my family. I will say that this is the first episode that I will give a trigger warning. And I will say that this episode may be a little bit heavier. And when I say trigger warning, I mean sexual assault and possibly abuse. So I just want y'all to be aware of that as y'all listen to the rest of the episode. And always know that I am okay. I am loved. And we all are just these souls in this simulation, and we just trying to figure it out. And it is okay, and everything will continue to be okay. So, with no further ado, y'all see I finally got it right this time. With no further ado, with no further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so with my family that I have, I didn't grow up with like this big old family. Like, I have a big family, but those weren't the ones that I grew up around. Like, my grandfather always says that we got so much family on the west side. We got so much family on the west side, which, like, ill, the west side. But those are full of people that I've never met, you know. And then possibly on my grandmother's side, I possibly had a lot of other people too. But unfortunately, I did not get to meet all of my family. I pretty much grew up with my mom, her three sisters, my cousins, my grandmother, and my grandfather. That was pretty much our close knit, immediate type family. Every time we had an event, it was always just us. It may be a few other guests or maybe a few other family members that like popped out of nowhere. Like, hey cuz, oh you my cuz, hey cuz, you know. Like, I didn't know you was my cuz. Hey cuz, oh yeah, you my cousin. Oh, all right. So yeah, those type of things. But for the most part, it was really just the immediate family. So, as y'all know from episode 2, when I was describing, you know, the good times and being in my grandmother's house and activities and stuff, y'all pretty much know that I grew up around my grandparents, specifically my grandmother. She had her own house, as y'all remember, I told y'all. And we cooked there, we barbecued there, we had events there. Her house was the place for storage. Anybody had something that couldn't fit in their house, couldn't fit in their car, is being stored in that house. She just, it was just a place of safety. It was a place of love. It was a place everybody was at. If you needed a place to stay, you go into grandma's house. You know, if you need some food, you go into grandma's house. You know, it was always grandma's house, grandma's house. And she hated, I remember she used to hate Jehovah Witnesses. She used to really hate Jehovah Witnesses. I remember this one time I was over there, and I think the Jehovah Witnesses had saw me through the window, and they had asked me if somebody was home, and I was like, yeah, my grandma. And my grandma gave me this look. Like, girl, why you tell them I'm here? Like, damn, my bad, grandma. I didn't know. I didn't know. What they talking about God, grandma, you know what they saying, like. Oh, and before I even get deeper into the episode, I do want to say, I don't remember if I've said it already, but my grandmother has passed away. She passed away in April of 2024. And I miss her every day, and I love her, and I just hope that she found peace and she's happy in heaven. When somebody dies, is sorry for your loss. I just never thought that that sounded good. Like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry you just lost your mama. I'm sorry you just lost your grandma. I'm sorry you lost her. I don't know. Like, it just never sounded, it never sounds sincere for me. I say, I'm sending my condolences, but oh, I'm sorry for y'all. I'm sorry you just lost your dog. I'm sorry your dog's dead. I'm sorry your mama dead. I'm sorry your grandma dead. Like, oh, okay. Thank you for your sorriness. Y'all, I have dark humor. Bear with me. But no, for real, y'all. It's okay. I love her. I'm really annoyed that she's dead because I feel like that was something so random that she would do. Like, grandma, at a anytime, anything that you could do, you choose to die. Like, you choose to die. So yeah. But I love her, and I know that she's still here with me and with our dysfunctional family. And yeah, so I just wanted to put it out there that my grandmother is deceased. So let's just get back to it. But yes, we all loved grandma house. Like, always grandma house. We had a ball at grandma house. Like, it was just always grandma's house. That was like our safe space. And my grandmother and I, we were close. My grandmother and I, she was just like a breath of fresh air for me. She played her role as a grandmother to the T. Like, I will say that. She would pick me up for kindergarten, and we would go get chips with cheese, meat, peppers, nachos. Y'all would call it nachos, but in Chicago, it's typically chips, cheese, meat, chip, cheese, meat, peppers, etc. And she would always give me candy. Like, my grandma, she always had bags of candy. I don't know what it is with grandmas. I don't even know where the hell they get the candy from. I've never seen my grandmother actually purchase candy. I just know she always had it. I possibly was eating 3 year ago candy, and I was still gonna eat it. I was still gonna eat it. And she also used to like protect me from my mom. Like, my mom used to be getting on my ass. My grandma be like, leave that girl alone. Leave that girl alone. Oh, no, she can't have it. She can't have that. My grandma, leave that girl alone. Let her have it. Leave that girl alone. Let her have it. Like, she played her grandma role. She definitely did. My grandfather more so came into my life when I was around like 11 or 12. Of course, I knew who he was, and of course, I've seen him and spent time with him. But we wasn't as close until I was a little bit older. Around the time that my mom and I had moved into a new place, that was the time that my grandfather and I got closer because my grandfather was living down the street from the place that we had moved in. So it was like, oh, okay, like, I'm seeing him more, we're connecting more. He became more involved. He would always do the yard work. He would always take my mom's car to get maintenance. And me and him, we would always do these daddy daughter lunches where one time out of the month, typically on like a Sunday, because my grandfather is retired, we would go to a restaurant, McDonald's, Culver's, Wendy's, something like that. And he would let me pick, and we would go, and I would rack it up. Like, my appetite used to be crazy. It still is, but I'm older now, so the body ain't can't really eat like how I was eating when I was like 13, 14, 15. I still try to, though, I promise y'all, but I can't really. It's not the same. But I used to like, oh, my granddaddy paying for it. Let me go ahead and get two Whoppers and throw fries and onion rings in there. Like, I really would run it up because my granddaddy got it. I remember my auntie said something about it one time, like, oh, you be taking advantage of him. And my granddaddy was like, girl, you love to eat. So eat. This is for you. As long as you eat it, I don't care. And I'm just like, period. That's my granddaddy. That's my granddaddy. Y'all know that sound? That's my granddaddy. Yeah, that was my granddad. I love those daddy daughter dates. I love to eat with him and to talk to him and spend time with him. And my grandfather was also known for his photography. Like, you would almost never catch my granddaddy without a camera, and not just a random camera. He always had like a state of the art, nice, customized type of camera that had great quality. And he always had to show somebody a picture. He collected a lot of videos and pictures because he put them in CDs and scratchbooks, and it's kind of just like he just wants an overview of what his life looks like. And he is still very much alive. My father, my actual biological father, He wasn't around very much. He did a lot of the dip and go type of game. Like he used to come in, leave out, come in, leave out. So it's like I did know who my father was. And there were lots of times that I spent with him. There were lots of times that he did come and get me, but he was just very inconsistent until he just stopped coming altogether. Like I just stopped hearing from him for years and he was just basically over it. Isn't it such a luxury for a father to be able to just decide that they don't want to be a father, but a mother for the most part? Because I know people, I'm not biased, it's everybody, but for the most part, a mother has to stay there and raise the child because she has no choice. So we we just love that a deadbeat father. My aunties, they were cool. Some were a little bit more dysfunctional than others, but I love that about them because they were always very erratic, very unpredictable. Two aunties specifically were always, I call them the wild card. They're the oldest ones. You have the oldest auntie, the second oldest, and then you have my mother's twin. Yes, she is a twin, double trouble. Isn't that fun? Double trouble. But the two oldest ones, they always made me laugh because they were just so free spirited. Like they truly did not give a fuck about nothing. They were loud, they were funny, they were proud, they were unapologetically themselves. They were just very interesting. My aunties have always been very interesting. And then the twin, she reminded me a lot of my mother. She was more so like cool, tomboyish, laid back, chill. You know, she always just went with the vibes. Like she was just the auntie that you always saw had the latest shoes. She was crazy about her shoe game. The latest shoes, the latest, she was that girl. She is that girl. Like I still say that. Like she is that girl. Like so my aunties, they were cool. Like I love my aunties. You have my cousins that I grew up with. So I have a different set of cousins. I have the older cousins that I spent some time with them when I was younger. Around the time that grandma had her house, that was around the time I spent a lot of time with my older cousins. And then as I continued to get older, I started seeing them less, but I started spending time with my cousins that were my age. We were all 1 year apart, with me being the oldest. So I pretty much grew up with them towards my older years. And honestly, we were all damn near siblings. Like, I don't know, when it comes to black families, your cousins, it don't even really give cousins. It really gives like, this is my sister. This is my sister. This is my brother. That's really what it always gave. Like, we're siblings at this point. And then you have myself, and I was just this golden child. You know, I was put on this pedestal before I even knew it. You know, I don't know what it was about me. Well, of course, now I know I'm divine, of course, but I'm saying as far as like my family choosing to make me the center of attention, to make me kind of the star of the family, to make me the golden child. Like all eyes are on me. I'm getting all these gifts for Christmas. I'm always on honor roll and perfect attendance, and everybody is always so happy. Everybody always want to know what I'm doing. Everybody always, what's Keisha up to? What's Keisha up to? That's my family nickname, Keisha. Please don't call me that. It's a family nickname. But what's Keisha up to? What's Keisha up to? And I just was always in the limelight. Like I had to keep up appearances damn near. Like I could do no wrong. And I never knew why I was the one in the family for that. I didn't choose that. I didn't choose to be that. Maybe it was because I was the only child and everybody else had siblings. Maybe it was because my mom, people just had respect for my mom and they was like, oh, we love your baby. I don't know what it was, but I was the center of attention when it came to my family. And I understand how that would make my cousins that I grew up with feel a certain type of way because it's like the attention is going to me and not a lot is going to them. You know, Christmases are had at our house and not at their house. You know, people aren't really calling to check on them, but people are calling to check on me. Like I never knew what it was, and I never really felt that good about it. You know, I never really had an opinion or an opinion that mattered for the most part, but I did grow up to be that golden child. I did grow up to be the center of attention. It was always Kesia, Kesia, Kesia. That's just how I was raised. And that makes sense why I'm just such the main character today. One of the last conversations I had with my mother, she had said to me, like, you have always felt like you were, I don't know what she said verbatim, but she basically said, you be acting like you bigger than the program. Like, you be acting like you the star. Like, you be acting like you this, like the world revolves around you. And I told her, it does. And my reality, it does. But I also told her, like, Ma, you made me this way. I didn't ask to grow up being the center of attention. I didn't ask to grow up being the golden child. You made me this way. The family made me this way. But truthfully, as y'all know, I don't believe in coincidences. That's how I feel like it was supposed to be. I was always special. I am divine. I was always divine. And it just seemed like my entire upbringing just always came to be that. It came back to that result. It came back to that, ending like I am divine. I am special. I am the chosen one. So it's like, regardless if she knew or even if she didn't know, or if the family knew or they didn't know, they were just pawns in God's plan. They were pawns in the universe's plan for me to just continue to be divine, to be the golden child. Of course, though, I will say that when you're young, you don't never see things the way that it looks. You don't never see things the way that it is. You don't never see things clearly, because I'm not old enough. I can't really see. I can feel, but I can't really see. I don't really understand like what's going on, what's happening. And I think my family, for the most part, they did a good job of keeping, like, I guess, grown up business to the grown ups, because there's a lot of things that I don't know. There's a lot of gaps and a lot of questions that I have that were never answered. But they definitely did do a great job of keeping a lot of family business to the family. Well, at least my mama. I don't know if my aunties did the same thing for their kids, because for some reason my cousins, they be knowing all the tea. But for my mama, she didn't play that. Like, it's grown folks business. You don't need to concern yourself. Stay in the child's place. Like I told y'all, my mom's strict. She did not play that. So I really didn't get to see, or I really wasn't really involved in the mess that my family created, or the mess that my family already was. I was just there, you know? And when I got older, I started to see things in color. Like, I started to put things together. I started to make sense of things. The information that I did get from this person and that person and this person, it kind of like created some type of answer for me. And it's like I just started to see things for what they were. And I think that that is the toughest part of growing up, is growing up. Growing up and seeing things for what they are has to be the toughest thing about adulting. That frontal lobe developing, whoo, and just being at the age where nobody feels like they want to hide anything from you anymore, or being at the age where people can't hide things from you anymore because you're older now, like you're not dumb. And that's kind of what it was like for me. In the beginning, I was able to tell y'all about all the good things about my family, or at least the best type of memories that I got from my family. Because growing up, that's all I really was seeing were the good things, or, enjoying the time, and not really knowing how dysfunctional and broken my family was. And so as I'm older now, and as I continue to grow up, these things come to me and I get answers, and things from my past start making a little bit more sense. And I told y'all, my past, my upbringing is dark. And I don't mean that just figuratively, but literally. Like, there are so many things that I can't remember, or I don't remember happening, or I remember it, but I kind of don't remember it. And yeah, they call that trauma, y'all. FYI. They call that trauma and possibly PTSD. That's what they call it. We love a trauma. But yeah, FYI, that's what they call it. But so basically, I started to see my family for who they were, who they are, and I didn't agree with it, and I didn't like how broken our family was. And this is considered the family tea. And of course, I definitely have felt conflicted to share some of these things. But at the end of the day, it's my life and it's my truth, and the truth will set me free. I just told that to my friend today. So I definitely feel like that's the theme. Like, that's the theme of the day. The truth will set you free, but it's so. I remember my grandfather and grandmother having a fucked up marriage. Like, that house that I told you my grandmother had, I don't remember ever really seeing my grandfather there. I don't even remember if during that time they were married or if they were already divorced. They may have already been divorced, but I hardly ever saw my granddad at that house. And apparently they had a really fucked up marriage, and it was filled with cheating and lying, abuse, and possibly drugs. And to this day, my grandfather has still never remarried. Like, my grandfather is the ultimate bachelor. I promise you. See, he will not deal with any bullshit from anybody at all. And he never remarried. And I really feel like that stems from the marriage he had with my grandmother. And even seeing them interact with each other after the marriage, they just always, it was always cordial. It was always like, okay, but it's so sad because it's like, we're all family and y'all got these children together, but y'all couldn't be more strangers. And I always thought that that was kind of like, I know for a fact that whatever marriage and relationship that my grandmother and grandfather had, it was a very dysfunctional one, because they really fucked up my mama and my aunties. They really fucked them up. They really broke something in them. They really damaged their spirits and their hearts. They really made them these women who just are hard and stronger than they need to be, and dysfunctional, and just can't choose peace or happiness, or if they feel like they are choosing it, they're really not. And it just it's just really messed up to see, because I really don't know all of what happened. I really don't know all of what my mother has seen and had to deal with. But I know that my grandfather wasn't always in my mother's life. I know that my mother and my aunties had to witness a fucked up dysfunctional marriage, plus all the things that happened afterwards. When the divorce came, my mother and her twin went with my grandfather, and my older aunties went with my grandmother. So having to split between your siblings as well, having to witness a divorce, having to witness toxicity, having to witness absent father, having to witness like all of these things, and they're young and they're growing up and they're thinking that this is okay. They're normalizing it. They're saying that this is our all right. This is the reality. This is how marriages are. This is how it's okay. And of course, they're all smart women. So of course they knew that it wasn't okay, or they grew up to know that it wasn't okay, but the damage was already done. Like, they've already seen so much. They've already dealt with so much. They've already witnessed so much that it's just like it's a part of them. Even if they didn't know, even if they don't know now. Even though I have told my mom and my auntie, and I know other family members have told people in my family too, but it's like my grandparents, they really did a number on y'all. And I really hate that, because at the end of the day, my mother and my aunties, they're just girls. They're just a girl. And they didn't ask to be there. They didn't ask to be here. And that was the family that they were brought into. And I'm not saying it was all bad, because I can't speak for their experiences or how they feel. But I do know that they did go through endless amounts of trauma, and they saw a lot of things that they didn't need to see, and they experienced a lot of things that they didn't need to experience, and it really did mold them into these women that are just broken. And that's the word that I use, like broken. Like, I really do feel like the women in my family are broken. I remember when my grandmother lost her house, because we no longer had a spot. It was no longer going to grandma's house. I don't know why. I don't know when. But I know that my grandma lost her house. And that seemed in my life to be the downfall of everything else when we stopped going to my grandmother's house. It's like before that, everything seemed so cool, everything seemed so chill. And then everything just seemed to, it was like a switch, and everything just seemed to be different because we no longer had grandma's house. My grandma ended up moving to like other places, or being with her sister, or being with my aunties, but like she never got that house back. She never, you know. When she died, she had her own apartment in Chicago, but as far as a house, she she never got a house again. I remember being told that my granddad and he ended up getting this crazy girlfriend, and they got into a fight, a real bad fight, and she ended up destroying all of our personal homemade videos, videotapes, CDs of all of our upbringings. Everybody's, mine, my mother's, my aunties, possibly videos of my grandmother and grandfather's marriage. Like, she destroyed all of it. And to this day, we will never have that back. And I think that that's also something that's very damaging and hurtful, because we can't look back on things. I mean, of course, my grandfather has recorded so much and he's videotaped so much that, I would say we still have a nice chunk that we can look back at and be like, oh, that's a memory. But to see my upbringing, to see my mother's upbringing, to see all of that, it's impossible. It can't be done. It's like she washed away such a big, important part of our family. And I think that that was just so fucked up. We no longer have those valuables. And I remember that being something that heavily affected my family, because that was all we had. During the time that they were upbringing, nobody was taking out their phones and taking out pictures. Like my grandfather, he had his camera, he had the videos, he had the CDs. He was creating memories for us to all reflect on, and that got taken away from us because of some crazy bullshit that had nothing to do with us. Or maybe it did have something to do with the family. My grandfather was dating crazy women back then, and he probably still is. I remember my mom telling me that all the times that my grandmother did pick me up from kindergarten, she was asking to be paid for it. Like, I remember my mom telling me that, oh, you love your grandma so much and you love your family, and your family always saying this stuff about me, but none of them really wanted to take care of you. None of them wanted to watch you when I had to work. They wanted to get paid for it. None of them wanted to just sit there and be with you or play with you or none of that. They wanted money. They didn't want to just watch you for free. They didn't want to just watch you because you was their niece or their granddaughter. No, they wanted to get paid. And I remember when my mom told me that, it was just like, damn. And it also just brings up how family can be sometimes. Like, everybody says it takes a village, but it's like that village be looking real, I don't know, it be looking real hutty. Like a hut. Like, it be looking real hutty, or just be looking like straws and sticks at this point, because to it feels like rejection. It feels sucks. Like, it always sucks when a kid is in the middle and it's like all these things are happening at the kid's expense. I'm thinking that when my grandmother did pick me up, or when my aunties did pick me up, even some of my aunties on my father's side, I remember when a short period of time I was going to my auntie's house on my father's side, and they would watch me because my school was right there, like right on the corner of their block. So it was kind of like, okay, but to know that even they wanted money, like nobody, it's like everybody was like, nothing is free. Even if it's your family, nothing is free. And I remember when my mom told me that, me feeling just very neglected, me feeling very just like, damn. It's like my mom made it known, like, it's just me and you. It's really just me and you. And I don't think she did it as, like, this narcissist manipulation tactic. I think that she just seen that her family was also fucked up, and she was trying to protect me. She was trying to tell me, like, look, all you got in this world is me, and all I got in this world is you. It's me and you. My mom used to say that all the time. It's me and you, Keisha. We got is you and I. And that's that's typically how the upbringing was. It was always just my mom and I. Every apartment, every home, me and my mom. Every place we going, it's me and my mom. Like, and she worked her ass off. Cause she was like, you know what? I'm not gonna keep paying them to watch you. Like, this is y'all family. Y'all should want to watch her for free, or not charge me an arm and a leg, or I don't have to pay y'all every time. Because my mom was fair. She's a logical, intelligent woman. So of course she would have been like, of course I'll break y'all off something here and there. Of course I'll do something for y'all. Of course I'll, run errands or blah blah blah. But for them to expect it every time, or for them to get an attitude, or for them to be like, oh, you owe me. My mom hated that. My mama hated that. And that's what led to me having to stay in the house by myself. Look, you know what? Stay in the house. Don't touch that door. Don't knock on that door. Don't answer the phone for nobody but me. And that's typically what parents have to do. Like, is it dangerous? Absolutely. But when you ain't got no money for no babysitter, when your family on that bullshit, you got to do what you have to do for you. And that's what my mom was doing. And I'm still alive. So, I mean, hey, I barely remember, or vaguely remember, the time when my grandmother told me to go to school and go to my guidance counselor and tell them that my mother was beating me and that I wanted to live with her. During that time, my grandmother didn't have her house anymore. This was definitely during the time she didn't have her house anymore. And I was young during that time. I think I was like in middle school. Maybe, yeah, like middle school, I think. And I don't remember how old I am. I told y'all, like, trauma, it does that. I don't remember. I just know I was old enough to talk, old enough to walk. And I vaguely remember my grandmother telling me to do that. And I went to school and I told the guidance counselor that my mom was beating me. And I remember police officers coming, me getting in the back of their car and taking me to the hospital. And I didn't know what was going to happen. They put me in a hospital gown, they looked at my body, but I didn't have bruises during the time. During the time, my mother was not beating me. You know, was I getting my ass whooped for stuff? Yeah, but barely that, you know? I don't think during that time my mother was really beating my ass. Now, in another episode, I got y'all. But in this one, during the time period, my mother was not abusing me. She was whooping my ass. She would sometimes say hurtful things, and she was always gone because she had to work. But it was not abuse, you know? And I don't know what made me want to follow and do what my grandma told me to do, but I was young. You know, like it's my grandmother. Like I love my grandma and she's telling me to do this like okay. And I could have said no. I could have not done it. I could have, but I was young. I was confused. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And I remember that being such a traumatic experience for both my mother and I because at that hospital we end up being in this intervention room where it was me, her, police officer, and like a case manager guy that basically told me, like, I can take you away from your mommy. And I just didn't know. I didn't know that. Like, I did not know that it could be to that extent. I did not know that I was about to be taken away. Like, DCFS, I did not know. And my mom was sitting there and she was just looking. I will never forget her face. Like that day, she had on a yellow shirt. I think her hair was in a slick back ponytail, and she had on like this jean jacket. And she looked at me with like not even anger, but like this look of just betrayal and hurt. And she was so confused. Like, why would you tell them I'm beating on you? Like, why would you say that? Like, you have a good life. Like, you healthy. You get anything you ask for. Like, why would you do this? And I just kept saying, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. And she was like, I'm sorry that I don't give you enough attention. I'm sorry that I haven't been there. Like, I'm sorry. Because I guess basically everybody thought that this was a cry for attention. And I remember the first time in my life seeing my mother cry, and it just broke me. And I ended up going back with my mother that time. And I remember us having a conversation. Rather, it was that same day or maybe like a few days or weeks after that. But we talked, and she was just like, you really hurt me. Like, what you did was bigger than what you think, and they could have taken you away from me, and you really hurt me. And I just broke down because that was never my intention. I didn't know what I was told to do would lead to that. I was young. I was in middle school. I don't know how old, like maybe seven, maybe eight, maybe around that time, like 6, 7, 8. I don't know. But I know that I didn't understand the depth of what it was that I was doing. And that was that was a real traumatic time. I remember my grandfather Or I remember my mom telling me that my granddad didn't want anything to do with me growing up, basically to spite her because she had me. Because he hated my father. He still hates my father. And he just didn't want my father and my mother together. He didn't approve. It was so much that happened with them all, things that I still don't know. And apparently he just was like, if you have that baby, I'm not gonna be in that baby's life. Like, I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna do that. Like, when my mom had me, she had to move out. She got a job. She had to move out because my granddad, he was not playing that shit. He was like, you have this baby, you gotta go. And she left, and it wasn't a lot of conversation. And so I guess that's why I don't really remember my grandfather being in my life all that much when I was growing up until my mother and I moved and he lived down the street. That's when I started to see him more, and that's when we had a relationship. But I remember that breaking me because it's like, once again, things are happening at the child's expense. Things are happening in my expense that I don't really feel like it's fair to me. Like, I've missed out on years growing up with my grandfather because of something that had nothing to do with me. And I remember him telling me that he feels that if he had been in my mother's life more, then maybe she wouldn't be the way that she is when it comes to certain things. He admitted and he told me one time that maybe if I was around more, maybe if I've done more, maybe if I was around, maybe if I really got to spend time and really know my kids, maybe your mom wouldn't be the way she is towards you, and maybe she wouldn't be the way she is towards men. Maybe she wouldn't be broken the way that she is. And the yard work and the stuff that I told y'all he did around the house and he did for my mom's car, all of that, all of that has basically been overcompensation for him being a shitty father to her and a shitty grandfather to me. And I think that growing up with all these people in my life and everybody just feeling like they can do stuff or they can give you stuff instead of just breaking things down and talking to you and saying that they're sorry. I'm sorry that I wasn't around. I'm sorry that I beat you. I'm sorry that I neglected you. I'm sorry. This is why. That would do so much more than just feeling like, oh, if I do this for you, this is going to make up for it. If I give this to you, this is going to make up for it. It's not. All my family has ever done was sweep shit under the rug. I am that generational curse breaker. I am that black sheep. I am. This podcast proves it, and they gonna be pissed. They gonna be pissed off. But I don't care because it has to stop. It just has to. It's not right to feel like, oh, I don't owe this person an apology or I don't owe them an explanation. Yes, you do. Because it's fucked me up. It's messed me up. And maybe if y'all got explanations, maybe if y'all got apologies, maybe y'all all wouldn't be so fucked up. Maybe, just maybe. That's a thought though. I remember my aunties standing by. I remember my aunties standing by and just allowing my mother to treat me the way that she did. When it came to my mom and how she treat me, and this was after the DCFS stuff. This was after that period when she started to get a little bit more intense. And like I told y'all, that's for another episode. But I remember my aunties, my entire family, honestly, but mostly my aunties just standing by and condoning it or being bystanders or just allowing her to treat me the way that she did, which they knew it wasn't right. It wasn't your typical ass beating. I was getting beat. I was getting talked to like a dog. I was getting treated like a dog. Like, and they just allowed it. Nobody ever talked to my mom, at least not to my knowledge. Nobody ever came to my defense. Nobody ever said that's not right. Nobody ever said, and you know what? If I feel like they did, I know that my mother said, mind your business. And they just started to mind their business. But that's not enough. And I remember them all just never telling her to stop. And I had one auntie, she wanted to save me. She wanted me to live with her. She said, whenever you ready, you can come here. I'll take care of you. Because that's not right. And it was a part of me that always just wanted to run away and just leave. But a part of me didn't want to leave. And a part of me also knew that my auntie is also like my mama. Not as intense as my mom, but it's like I knew that it wouldn't be that much different if I left. So I thought that I should just stick with what I knew. And I never left. But I always felt some type of resentment for my aunties because I love my aunties and they just allowed that lady to just do whatever. But like I said, they were also broken. So what can you really do? I remember being sexually assaulted by a family member, touched on when I was possibly maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe. That whole playing house thing is a real thing. And I didn't realize it was assault. I didn't realize I was possibly being groomed. I didn't realize it was a bad thing. It was weird, but it's like I realized when I grew up, things sometimes just come to you. And there has been a lot of moments in my life where I realized I have been raped. I have been sexually assaulted. I have been coerced. I have been mutilated physically and emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I remember my cousins and I being super close, but all the family bullshit and us not being able to see each other as much because my mother would like to use me as a pawn. And whenever she was upset at everybody else, nobody else could see me, talk to me. And that happened a lot. So there was distance between my cousins and I, and also people making them feel inadequate. I told y'all I was the golden child. I was the one that got the most attention. And of course, that would make them feel away. Like, why am I not special? Why am I not getting all these gifts? Why am I not? Why is Kesia getting this? Why is Kesia getting that? And I always used to try to tell them, like, I don't condone it. Like, I don't know why. And I love y'all equally, and I don't think that I'm better than y'all. But it's just like all these things played a factor. We all just stopped talking, and sometimes we would get back to talking, and then we would stop because I just realized, like, we ain't never gonna be what we used to be. We ain't never gonna be what I deeply wish that we were. And I told you I was the only child, so they were my sisters. And so much stuff got in between that, and now we don't talk at all. It's like we're strangers now. And honestly, my entire family are strangers to me now. And that's the crazy part about growing up is you just start to realize things about yourself, your environment, your experiences, and you just see how fucked up things were that you didn't catch, or you didn't remember, or you thought you remembered but you tried to tell yourself that it wasn't that. It was a lot. And my family possibly has more dirt, more trauma, more stories to go on for days. But for the most part, those are my experiences. And it's what I saw and it's what I witnessed. And that's that's my family. And I think that is very heartbreaking to know that so many other people have similar stories, if not worse. And how so many black families are okay with sweeping stuff under the rug or things being family business. It's not family business. Y'all are dysfunctional and y'all are broken, and this is sad. And somebody has to say something about it. But luckily for my family, they had me. And I'm saying something about it. And like I said, they gonna be pissed. And if you my family and you listening to this, it had to be done. Maybe it will force people to get their shit together, but knowing my family, it won't. You know, I like to call myself a millennial. I feel that way, but I'm Gen Z. It's like a mix. And I know that a lot of Gen Z people, we have families that just will never see us. They will always be broken. They will always be dysfunctional. They will always just be them, who they are. And that's not our responsibility to change them, fix them. And it's not fair for us to keep going back when we know the results. So I stepped away and I let them go because I truly believe that my family is just never going to change. And that breaks my heart because family is everything. And I really wish that my family could have been what I wanted and needed them to be. But unfortunately, these are the cards that I was dealt. But changing my perspective, I would like to think that this just had to be how it had to be. I had to have those type of family members. I had to go through the things that I went through. I had to experience that. And it's not fair. It's lonely. It's heart wrenching. It's I can't even describe it, really. Like the true intents and the true depth of how it feels. But it will forever affect me. Even if it doesn't affect me as much down the line, but it will always affect me how I just will never have the family that I wish that I had. And not even the type of family that I can bear. You know, not even the type of family that I could just be around. Like, no, my family, they don't see me. They don't get me. They abuse me. They see me as an object. They see me as something that to make them feel good about themselves, but it's never really been about seeing me for me. It was always seeing what I could do, seeing what I could be, making giving the family a good name. Oh, I'm the first generation. Oh, I'm the first to move out of Chicago and go to a whole nother part of the world. Oh, I'm the first to do like, but what about me? And my family just has never gotten that. And so all the good things that I mentioned in the beginning, this episode was about me portraying how as a child I remembered those good things, and then growing up I saw everything for what it was. And reality checks and just learning about yourself and your family and how fucked up things are is it's life. That's the only thing I can say. I'm trying to heal one black girl at a time while simultaneously trying to heal myself. So I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I hope y'all listened to the whole thing. Thank y'all so much for allowing me to be transparent. There are some heavier episodes coming up, but this is my truth. This is my life, and I'm really proud to be able to speak on it and share that, and hopefully it helps someone else. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in to episode 3, season 1 of Diary of a Divine Black Girl. Till next time.